Down, down with Mubarak!
Down, down with Mubarak!
Down, down with Mubarak!
Down, down with Mubarak!
بلادي 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 لك حبي وفؤادي مصر يا أرض النعيم سدت بالمجد القديم مصر يا أرض النعيم سدت بالمجد القديم مقصدي دفع الغريم وعلى الله اعتمادي.
I am an Egyptian, and that automatically makes me feel the pain and suffering of other Egyptians. But more importantly, I'm a human being, regardless of where you come from, regardless of the flag you carry on your shoulders, regardless of the language you speak, of the religion or the faith you believe in. This has nothing to do with this. This concerns all human beings. If one person is oppressed in the world, it is our responsibility as people who have access to education, to healthcare, to the media, to speak up and make the suffering stop immediately.
In Egypt and in Tunisia, people are fighting to make sure that the revolution reaches end, become final, and we see a real change.
Down, down with Mubarak!
Down, down with Mubarak!
يسقط يسقط حسني مبارك!
يسقط يسقط حسني مبارك!
يسقط يسقط حسني مبارك!
يسقط يسقط حسني مبارك!
As we can see, there's so much enthusiasm for what's going on in Egypt, following on the heels of the Great Revolution in Tunisia. It shows for a lot of people, especially youth, to see that people can come together, not only on nationality, but as has been said, on religious basis. Children, women, youth, adults, the elderly, everyone coming together in this social upheaval to liberate themselves against dictatorship. But it's important, brothers and sisters, to know that that dictatorship does not just come from oppressive people in their own countries, but comes from the oppressive nature of US imperialism that starts in this country. This country sent billions of dollars over to Egypt to destroy, to oppress, and to kill. And if we who are here as activists do not give a voice to those injustices, then we just serve the same purpose, the silence. And that is a true testament. It's a true testament of what people can do in Egypt and around the world when they come together and they say we will not be divided, we will not be conquered, we will resist oppression, we will come out to the street for 12 days now, and we will overthrow the repressive government regardless of who wants it or who doesn't. It is Egyptians who are forming their future, and we should support that.
Down, down, Hosni Mubarak!
Down, down, Hosni Mubarak!
Look at you all. Look at millions in the streets of Egypt. Look at millions in Tunisia fighting. Today we have hope. We have hope that we will not be treated unfair. We have hope that we will see unfair and we will object at unfair. We will stand for justice.
What we know for certain is that the good people of Egypt have already prevailed. What we know for sure is that the good people of Tunis have already prevailed. What we know for sure is that all the freedom fighters and supporters of democracy everywhere have already prevailed. I want you to understand one thing. The people of Egypt are not marching the streets, rallying and sacrificing their own lives for the mere purpose of Mubarak resigning. We will stay in the streets even after Mubarak resigns. You know why? Because what we want, what all of us want here and there and everywhere in the world, is a true democratic reform in Egypt and the Arab world. What we want is due process and the rule of law. What we want is the ability to organize and create political parties. What we want is for the people of Egypt and other countries to have a chance to finally become a developed country rather than being a third world country forever. We have been exposed to the small, annoying voices of people who are swayed by the tears of the crocodile. by people who are swayed by the lying address of Mubarak the other day. They keep murmuring in our ears with their annoying little voices. Come on, give the man a chance. He said he's going to step down in just a couple of months. The economy is being destroyed. The kids are unable to go to school. The banks are down. Old people are not getting their pension. Shut up! Shut up! This regime tortured you for 30 years. This regime made you suffer for 30 years, lied to you for 30 years, put the best of men and women among you in prison for 30 years, expelled the best people out of the country for 30 years, amassed $70 billion in Switzerland and England and France for 30 years, and now you're telling me that I am supposed to just take his words on faith? Are we supposed to take his words on faith?
Down, Hosni Mubarak!
Down, Hosni Mubarak!
1, 2, 3, 4. Kick Mubarak out the door! 1, 2, 3, 4.
Kick Mubarak out the door!
1, 2, 3, 4.
Kick Mubarak out the door!
يا فلسطين يا فلسطين الشعب المصري لك جايين. يا فلسطين يا فلسطين يا فلسطين الشعب المصري لك جايين. Oh Palestine, oh Palestine, the people of Egypt are coming to save you and liberate you. And that's exactly what this controversy is all about. In addition to the dictatorships, the US government wants to impose its will on the Arab region. The US government wants to colonize the Arab world by any means necessary. And if they don't want to do it, if they cannot do it with direct occupation like in Iraq or direct occupation like in Palestine, they will set up puppet dictatorships such as the one that exists in Egypt, such as the one that exists in Tunisia, and they want to give us some painkillers every time we erupt. They want to tell us, it's okay, don't worry. We spoke with Hosni Mubarak. We asked him to step down, don't worry about it. We kicked out Ben Ali, don't worry about it. But please don't touch two things. Keep the world order the way we prescribe it, and keep your agreements with the state of Israel so that it can continue to dominate and colonize this region. We have one thing to say back to them. Today represents the international mobilization and solidarity with the people of Egypt and Tunisia. There were protests in Beirut where the protesters attempted to go into the Egyptian consulate and occupy it. There were protests in Tunis, in Manama, in Amman, in Sana'a, in Lisbon, in Madrid, in London, in Paris, in Prague, in Caracas, in New York City, in Washington DC, in Detroit, in Los Angeles, and right here in San Francisco. And we called for these protests in order to expose the hypocrisy and the complicity of the US government, not only in the genocide in Palestine, not only in the genocide in Lebanon, but also in the repressive tactics used against the Egyptian people. And we saw President Obama come out and say, it's okay, let the head let the head of the intelligence lead the country in an orderly transition so that we can dictate from Washington, D.C., we can dictate to the army how to repress you, how to accept the New World Order. But we said no. The Egyptian people, the Tunisian people, on this day, on this eve of revolution, are the most beautiful people in the world. Today is our wedding. It's our wedding with freedom and democracy. It's the beginning of a new chapter. And out of this wedding, social equality and economic justice and political rights and human rights and development and sovereignty and independence shall be born.
One, two, Hosni Mubarak must go! 1, 2, 1, 2, Hosni Mubarak must go!
ثورة حتى النصر
ثورة تونس، ثورة مصر.
ثورة تونس ثورة مصر
ثورة حتى النصر.
ثورة حتى النصر
ثورة تونس، ثورة مصر.
ثورة تونس